Good morning and happy South Florida Sunday. Welcome once again to Legends Community Focus right here on Legends 100.3. Mike McGann here with you. And all right, I know I talk about this a lot because I teach radio and I always say you can hear a smile, right? And you can. Mm-hmm. I know you can hear one with me right now. And it's because of who I have with me today, the organization that they represent, a great event that's on the way, what their mission does. It's a lot to make me happy and really make a difference in the world and shine some real light. I am talking about Hannah's Home. And Hannah's Home it's an organization that when it comes to real change, real life change in individuals and the greater community because of it, Hannah's Home is absolutely top end. Not many organizations can claim to make the changes that they do. And we're going to talk about Hannah's Home, what they're all about, what that mission is, how it got started, and such a cool event that is coming up to help support Hannah's Home. So to that end, I could not be happier than to have with me today my friend Abby Brennan, the project consultant of Hannah's Home. How are you, Abby?
I'm wonderful. Glad to be here again.
It's great to see you as well. And Karen Hilo, the CEO of Hannah's Home. How are you, Karen?
I'm doing great, and I'm glad to be here for the first time, Mike.
I know, right?
I am.
But hey, there's a nice little jacket theme going on today, which makes me happy too. So we are going to get right into it because, Hannah's Home is a beautiful organization that really does make a lot of difference. So let's talk a bit about Hannah's Home. What's it all about? What's the mission? How did it get started? What inspired it? Let's learn about it.
Oh, gosh.
I know there's a lot in one question.
There is a lot
we
there. Well, our founder, Carol Beresford, started the first Hannah's Home in Ohio, and she led that for many years. And then her husband got a job down here, and she transferred down here and conveyed that one to the board in Ohio. And in very short order, started a new one here.
Okay.
And very grateful for that. That happened back in 2012. And the mission of Hannah's Home is to transform the lives of young, single, pregnant women. And they've done it up in Ohio for all those years, and it's been doing this just as well here. But, the community's changing. The needs are changing. And so over time, we have tried very hard to keep in step with that. We serve presently 18 to 25-year-old women who are often come in homeless, come in with past histories of addiction. Mm-hmm. And so the first thing we do when they come in is we have to stabilize their crisis. And that might have been the first part of what we were going to do when Carol Beresford dreamed of it. Right. But she saw pretty quickly that it had to be more than that. Sure. So this is not a shelter experience. This is much more than that. We have you come in and we start helping you actually get to a position where you're going to have I would say, I always say the words flourish. Go from dependence to independence and do it in a way that you and your baby will thrive.
Wow. I mean, there's a lot that is covered in that mission, but I think one of the things that is so beautiful about that is the original step you talked about, right? Dealing with that initial emergency. That's obviously a very, very important first step, and that's survival. Mm-hmm. But there is a difference between surviving and thriving. And what you're doing at Hannah's Home is you're presenting that atmosphere, the ability, and the support necessary to help these young ladies and their babies to thrive. And that is so much of what they need. Mm-hmm. And, when it comes to the effect on the overall community, it's massive as well, because there's a ripple effect when it comes to everything from business to taxes to there's an awful lot. There's economic benefits to that. Everybody wins when it comes to the success of Hannah's Home.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And this is more of a personal question here, but I'm watching when you talk about this, and it means a lot to you. Why are you personally so passionate about this, Karen?
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a very personal story, and actually, I would say probably everyone involved in Hannah's Home has a very personal story. They have a set of values that have come out of that personal story, and we see it at Hannah's Home. We all in our lives, I think, have hope for the situations that we've come through. Maybe we've struggled, maybe we've conquered, we've triumphed, and we believe other people should have the same chance. And so for me, it's I had a background where I endured. Our whole family went through poverty. Okay. My mom was a single mom. We had issues that, really, in all fairness to the residents that we're serving, they weren't nearly as bad as the ones that they've endured, because I at least had education.
Right.
It wasn't disrupted. I didn't have worries about transportation. I didn't have worries about mental health issues in my home. These girls are coming in with some very, very, very severe situations, and that affects their mindset. So for me, it's if we can have people around them who have that hope and can maintain that level of hope for them and give them the resources and the experiences that we have, and also share the triumph that we've experienced and we believe they can experience, that is a huge mindset shifter. Not to mention the very physical resources we provide for them. We are trying to give them hope.
It's well-rounded. I mean, it's not just one issue or another, or putting a Band-Aid on something. Mm-hmm. This is about complete life change. This is about really helping people to claim who they are and the best of who they are, for their future, the future of their families, and the community. You can learn a lot more about it, by the way, by checking out hannashomesf.org. That is hannashomesf.org. Now, the program itself, how does it look today? How does it look compared to what it was? What's the future all about? What are you looking to do?
Great question right now, because our board's just embarked on a strategic plan process, and we're going to be looking at some of the things that we're doing right now and how we can improve them. Because right now what we do is serve residents in a home, a residential home. Right. We have the capacity for 8 women and their babies, and there's so much more need in the community, and we get over 200 calls a year.
Wow.
For space. We don't take everyone in because they do have to fit some parameters, but we could help them in some way if we could start imagining how we can take what we're doing within those walls and start presenting it in ways to people who might not ever walk through our doors. So we're really looking at how we can expand greater and meet the needs wherever they are. I mean, there's a huge potential for us to do what we're doing in some way, some magnitude out in the community.
The potential is as great as the potential that's in everybody that comes in.
Yes.
And you mentioned the imagination. Everything starts with an idea. And we've seen the expansion of the original idea of Hannah's Home grow into what it is and what it will become. Let's talk a bit about the current program. What does it look like?
The current program is, first of all, like I said, crisis stabilization. So the first thing they'll do is they'll come in and we'll give them an assessment of what they need. Right. So we have a case manager on staff who will go through a set of, like, a rubric basically for us to say, okay, here's what the immediate needs are. Now remember, they're coming in pregnant.
Yes.
So they're going to be in a different stage of their pregnancy. Right. If they've come in homeless, then they've obviously been in a situation where they probably haven't been getting regular health care, much needed regular health care.
I mean, obviously.
Right. Right. So the first thing we'll do is we'll get them in with their doctor. We'll make sure that they're taken care of physically, and then we'll take care of their mental health as well. We'll see what their needs are there. We connect with the community. We have so many resources in this community that programs that we can get. So there's a program that's wonderful that provides a nutritionist, a nurse, and a mental health counselor. Wow. So we can, I know it's fabulous. And so we can get them sitting in front of them in no time at all and get working at all levels for them. And then after they've gone through crisis stabilization, we immediately start working with them on life skills. And they'll get, if they don't already have their GED, we will start working with them to study and prepare for it. If they already do, we'll start working towards what their career goals are. We don't hope that they'll stay in a job that's just well,
it's not a stopgap. It's not like here you go and just move on. We're done
we
with
don't
you
want
now.
them, and I know that many people do this and they enjoy it, but we don't want them doing a minimum wage job forever, because they need to, in order to flourish, our definition is they're going to have a living wage for them and their children. So we start working with them on their career program, where they're going. And so we have 2 young women right now. One is finishing her GED and is planning to start community college classes in January, and we have another one who is in community college right now, taking 2 classes while she has a 4-month-old, while she's working, while she's doing life skills classes. So you probably are picking up, they're motivated. They're seeing the opportunity, and they're taking hold of it.
But you're providing the framework because each step builds upon the previous one.
Right.
The flow is very logical,
right,
and very effective. I love that because she's taking the life skills classes, but she is also using those life skills to balance all of those things. So you already see it coming together.
Right. And then the other thing that's really critical for them is they'll come in and they will not necessarily have healthy attachments. Right. Trust will be an issue for them, and we're very focused because we know we know that it helps them with their mental health, but it also helps them as they work in the world. We work on their community skills. So we build community through it. We set up social safety network for them, and they'll learn to trust. We have so many volunteers and staff that just pour into them for that purpose. That's a really huge part of our program, and even though it may feel intangible.
Well, look, the intangibles are really so much of things, right? And in that case, it's really powerful. Once again, hannashomesf.org is the website to learn more. hannashomesf.org. That's HANNAHSHOMESF.org. Now, those 2 stories alone are really pretty powerful. But what are some of the other accomplishments or stories that you can share with me about Hannah's Home and the difference that you've made?
Well, I can think of, we have several young women there now who have been in the home for a while. I think what I would love to spotlight as I think about those 2 women.
I love that smile too,
because they have we have such beautiful babies.
Yes.
And when I say beautiful, I'm certainly not talking about although they're adorable.
They're adorable, right?
I mean, they really are. They are cute. But if you could see them when they come in, because part of the program, which I haven't mentioned yet, is that when they come in, from the moment they're there for their full pregnancy. So it could be they showed up at 2 months pregnant. It could be that they're in their 8th month pregnant. But after their baby's born, they can stay another 2 years.
Wow.
So imagine what that does for these babies. From someone who was formerly homeless, from someone who was formerly an addict, we suddenly have a baby where 0 to 3 is the most critical time for their brain to develop. We have them for 2 years.
Wow.
And so they're in a space where they are being loved, they are being developed in all areas, physically, their language skills. They have women who are loving them all the time, volunteers who are just caring for them all day. So they have, I wish I could show you when we have this set of 3 children that are all walking or near walking. And when one comes in the room, they just squeal that the other one's there. They're so excited. So you can just see the healthy attachments that are forming. And we know the work that we're doing is for the babies as well.
I'm sorry. I get a little emotional with this kind of thing, and I'm picturing that.
It's so cute.
A beautiful thing. And, we've used the word hope a lot so far. And that story is just suffused with it. There's hope everywhere in what you just said. Hannah's Home, it's really what it's all about. All of it. It's about hope. It's about thriving. It's about life skills. It's about so many things wrapped up into one organization. And, one thing I do have to bring up here is obviously none of this is free. You know what I mean? These things, getting somebody cleaned up, finding the funding for this, where does it come from? How do you get the funding? How can people help you with that?
Well, first of all, we have a number of partnerships in the community. There's no money exchanged, but there are relationships that we leverage and benefit from. So we really appreciate those. We also have just private donors. Right. We have churches that are regular givers to us. Okay. We have corporate sponsors. We have private foundations. We have a contract that helps us. And we also have our annual event that is a spectacular event. And it is one of the largest portions of our contributions to our operations.
Well, we're going to talk about that because, look, time flies, and that's going to be here before we know it.
That's right.
I was thinking back to when I worked in retail in 1996. I remember one of the cashiers called me over and said, "Mike, you're not going to believe this. and it was a credit card that had an expiration date in the year 2000. And it was like, wow. And now I'm thinking, well, that happened 24 years ago, longer than that. Amazing. Time's flying by, and this gala is going to be upon us before we know it. So let's talk about the gala. Last year was absolutely spectacular. Let's discuss it. What's going on?
Well, I'd love to. Our gala this year is February 15th, which is a Thursday evening. It is going to be at the Pelican Club once again.
Yep.
And the theme is Dream On. And that goes back to when Carol Beresford first had a dream to bring a Hannah's Home into the world, if you will, because it was so important to her. And she has a little story where she realized it wasn't enough to give somebody a sandwich when they were in need. She needed to give them a home, a place to live. And so that is part of this, and part of the other Dream On is that we are expanding. And this is what we've been working on for the last several years, many, many years. And we are set to have a groundbreaking ceremony at the end of November.
Wow.
For 2 duplex cottages. So we are going to bring another 4 women being able to come from the house, from the dormitory itself. Once they're through the program, they can go into a cottage. And that's a big step because now they are living alone. They are living with their babies. They're close to the home. Of course, it's right there on the same property. But they are going to see what it really is like to live, to pay your bills, to make dinner every night, to make sure that you have good child care for your child, do all the things that they're going to have to do when they leave Hannah's Home. So this year's gala is now looking at what we're going to do with building them. And the last couple of galas, we have been able to raise enough money for 1 duplex. And now this year, we have a benefactor who has said, if you can raise for the 1 and you can build the first, I will find a way to build the second.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is incredible. We've had gifts over the years, so many wonderful people that have crossed our threshold, whether it is visitors, whether it are our volunteers. And this particular family has come and said, you know, we want to help, and we're going to help you. Let's see what we can do this year. And that's a big theme of this year's gala, is we're dreaming on, and we're going to the next step.
That theme is just spectacular for this. Because, you know, again, I get a little sentimental about things. And I think to people that I know, I mean, I'm an AA myself, so I know people. I've met so many through recovery. And I don't think I've ever met anyone who dreamed of having an addiction issue.
Right.
I've never met anyone who dreamed of being pregnant with no choices. I've never met anyone who dreamed of, you know, let's make my life as hard as it can possibly be. No, we have dreams when we're young, and the dreams can change and adapt as we get older, but we have things we dream of for ourselves, right? And I think that Hannah's Home and the gala can allow people to reclaim those dreams, can let them dream on and onward and upward. It's not the nightmare that they've been living. It's a good dream again. It's possibly making the dreams come true. That theme is so perfect. I'm just thinking about this, and it's getting more exciting.
Yeah, we are excited to be able to do that, and we as a committee come together, the event committee or steering committee for the event.
Yes.
And we talk about this and we give it out to everyone. Well, what do you think it should be called? What do you think it should be called? And it becomes kind of a think tank, if you will.
Right.
And then that was born out of that by one of our very wonderful members of the team. And, I do want to say, Mike, last year we sold out, and you know that because you are our auctioneer.
Yeah, I had the honor and privilege of emceeing an auctioneering last year.
It was amazing.
What an experience that was, though.
Yeah, it really was. And so we have already, before our invitations went out last week, just people hearing about it and knowing about it, we have actually sold close to 70% of this event. Yes.
Wow.
That is what has been accounted for through all of this. And so we are hoping that people will go to our website, as you
yes.
have been speaking,
Yes.
and they can go right to the link to purchase tickets.
Oh, goosebumps. You can't see him because of the jacket theme from earlier. But no, really, it's that. What a stunning and beautiful thing. And I'm an Aerosmith fan too, so I do love the Dream On aspect of
Yes.
this. But, last year, I've got to tell you, because, I host a lot of events and I make a lot of appearances and I love to MC and do all that. But the feeling in that room last year at the Pelican Club, the sense of people coming together, there is so much light in that room, and not just because it's such a beautiful venue, but the light of the people, the light of the souls, the young ladies that were there who have turned their lives around and enabled to recapture their dreams through Hannah's Home and through the program. It was one of the most uplifting moments of I would say my career, but even more than that. I mean, just in my life in general, just watching the call to heart and just seeing people getting excited and saying, wow, look what's happening around us. And being up there and watching it happen and feeling it. Seeing the difference happening right in front of you. There's nothing in the world like it. And last year was amazing. And this year it's going to be even that much more so. And it was fun too. It was full of heart and exciting, but everybody was just in such a good mood.
They were
such a powerful spirit there.
And when you did the auctioneering for us, and those paddles were going up all over the room,
it was so much fun.
It really, really was. A lot of people talk about going to using your cell phones and whatever. What a lot of auctions are doing now.
Yes.
But our board has talked about how exciting it is, and they're right.
There's
when
something
people
about
see
that.
other paddles going up, all of a sudden there's there's a swell
There is.
of enthusiasm. And like you say, the young mothers are there. In the early part, they bring the babies in too. So it's, everybody gets a sense of seeing what we're really doing.
It is, and it's coming together. And, I think I've talked about this before, but we live in a world where we often define ourselves by our differences, which I think is generally a recipe for disaster on a number of levels, really. And in a case like this, when we're defining ourselves by how we can come together, saying, how can we help? Because, again, we all have really the same dreams of being healthy and happy and successful and thriving for ourselves, for our children, for the community. And that's something we can all come together around. Having it happen right there in that room with just a beautiful venue. The food was outstanding. Everybody there has that sense of we're all in this together. And then the young ladies and the babies that we met saying, we're doing it for you. And they're saying, yes, and we want to give back and show what's been given to us and what we have worked for. Because they're working so hard with what is being given to them through the program to make the most of it. And they say, look, you can do what we're doing. It's really just, I'm sitting here right now just in this crazy feeling is here because that's what comes from Hannah's Home for the people that are involved and everybody that touches.
And you have promised to be our auctioneer again this year.
I am going to be, and I'm very excited for it. It's the day after Valentine's Day, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
we'll be keeping that spirit of love going, but that spirit of generosity, that that sense Valentine's Day is, hey, we love this person, right? But this event and Hannah's Home in general, it's about loving everybody. It's love your neighbor. It's love your neighbor as yourself. It's there, but for the grace of God, right? There are so many different things that come together in this to create that example. And I remember last year there was one of the young ladies who was there. She was pregnant and she was there with, I'm trying to remember if she had married recently or was about to get married. But I remember just the joy on all their faces, watching that family come together was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, really was. A lot of these young women really thrive and flourish, as you're saying, and have families as they leave. They have a different world. They are living a good life.
Yeah.
And love their babies and love their children and know how to take care of them now and know what to do in this world. And it's an amazing thing to see.
That's a recipe not just for the success of that person and that family. But that's a recipe for success as a human being in general. So the example that they show, especially considering where they start, and then they come out, these women, and then the lessons that they pass on to their children and what their children are learning for those first 2 years at Hannah's home, being surrounded by love, learning what it's like to be on your own with that baby, with that child, learning to use your skills, be a good parent, be a good steward of the knowledge that you have. Really, they become an example for everyone around them that anything is possible, and this is how you live a good life anyway. So making a difference in that, helping them to take that seed that was planted, that started in the imagination when it was started, see the way that's grown and borne fruit individually and as an organization, and what it does for really humanity in general, which sounds grandiose, but it's not, right? What is humanity? It's a bunch of humans. And when you see those humans succeed and grow, it lifts everybody up. You have an opportunity to see it and be a part of it all at once. The gala, Dream On February the 15th. The tickets are flying. 70%, as you said, Abby.
Yes.
You've got to get in on it. Last year was a sellout. Head to hannashomesf.org, hannashomesf.org. Buy your tickets while you can. And I can't wait to see you there. I'm so excited to be there and serve as auctioneer and MC it and just have a great time with you again and see the difference that everybody makes. And you've got to get them while they're there. The gala, once again, is February 15th. It is such a wonderful time at the Pelican Club. And you can also, of course, donate directly at the website. You can volunteer there. There's all kinds of opportunities to be a part of something that is not only far bigger, but something that is so beautifully effective. And that's what Hannah's Home is all about. hannashomesf.org, hannashomesf.org. Gala's on February 15th. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see you there. And I'm always so happy to have you here, Abby. Karen, it's wonderful to have you around and with all that you're doing.
Much.
And I know I can get a little verbose about it, but I legit get so excited for this kind of thing. And it's going to be wonderful to see you there, and of course, both of you there as well. hannashomesf.org. Learn more about the mission. Learn how you can help in so many ways, and get those gala tickets while you can, because it is going to be a happening. This has been Legends Community Focus on a South Florida Sunday morning. Stick around. Lots more legendary programming on the way.